Hey everyone, it's Kyle with Prolux, and in today's video we're going to be doing a complete overview of the Prolux 6000 commercial upright vacuum cleaner. We're going to unbox it, assemble it, go over some features, set it up, and use it, and then we'll end the video with some maintenance. So it's going to be a long video, but I hope you guys enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, now that we got the box open, first thing you're going to see is a cardboard insert that says, "Thank you for your order." And then you're going to have this really large insert, and on the back of the insert you're going to have this maintenance tool. Another piece of paper. You're then going to have the owner's manual. Everything I'm covering in today's video will be found in the owner's manual. You're going to have a telescopic tool wand. You're going to get 2 extra bags and a spare belt. You have the main handle, and then lastly you're going to have the actual vacuum. Now that we have everything out of the box and out of its packaging, let's quickly recap what's included with the 6000. So you have the unit itself, you have the instruction or owner's manual, you get 2 extra bags and a spare belt, you get the main handle, you get a telescopic tool wand, and then you get some paperwork, and then on the big insert you do get a maintenance tool. And then moving on to the actual vacuum, you do get 3 additional tools which are already installed. So you get an upholstery tool, a duster, and a crevice. Now that we have everything unboxed and out of its packaging, let's go ahead and assemble the Prolux 6000. Alright, so when it comes to the assembly process for the 6000 and all of our other uprights with this type of body, you pretty much just need to attach extendable or telescopic tool wand to the fill tube, and then go ahead and insert the main handle. We're going to go ahead and do the tool wand first. So on the side with the onboard tools, there's going to be this fill tube. So when you go to install the wand, make sure it's in this configuration. Make sure the button release to extend the wand is facing down, or it's near the bottom part of the wand. Then go ahead and feed it through that loop. And then sometimes it might not go in very easily, but pretty much all you have to do is just get started and twist it in. And then from there you can go ahead and attach the hose to it. But next step, I'm going to attach the main handle because it has a hose hanger at the top. So we're going to go ahead and turn the vacuum around, and then you're going to have a screw right here. You need to remove that screw, and then once you insert the main handle, you're going to screw that screw back in, holding the handle in its place. So pretty much just need a flathead screwdriver. You don't need one this big. That's all I could find. We're going to go ahead and remove that screw. Now that you have the screw removed, go ahead and get the main handle, and when you insert it, make sure the cord wrap hooks are facing you. Slide it down, push it down all the way, and then go ahead and reinsert the screw we just removed. And then go ahead and just make that screw snug. And then, like I mentioned before, there is a hose hanger, so we're going to flip this hose over, rest it on that hose hanger, and then attach it to the tool wand. And then you have a 50-foot commercial heavy-duty 16-gauge cord, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the top cord hook. Alright, so that was the assembly segment. We're going to be moving on to a more in-depth conversation, and we're going to be going over setup. We're going to be going over some specs, features, and then pretty much how to use it. Since this is a brand new unit, I don't really want to demonstrate it because then it's not going to be brand new. So I will put a small demonstration clip in the video so you guys can check it out, or I'll put the link to that video in the description below. But setup wise, you're pretty much already set up once you have it assembled. You guys do have a bag installed already. So to get using the unit, all you need to do is plug the cord in, release the foot pivot, and then turn the vacuum on. But I will show you guys how to do all of that. So to release the vacuum, you're gonna have a foot pivot on the left side. Put your foot on that, push down, and then the vacuum will be in the vacuum position, like so. And then you do have a on and off switch on top of the main body. It's right here, simple on and off. And then this will plug into any normal 110 wall outlet. So setup, as long as you have it assembled, you're pretty much good to go. Just plug it in and turn it on. The 6000 is going to be the most basic upright we offer with this type of body type. So you have the 6000, which is gonna be white. You have the 7000, which is gonna be red. And the 6000 and 7000 are gonna be strictly for carpet use. The 8000 and 9000 have a transitional floor switch, which would be right here, and that allows you to turn it to hard floor, which will turn the brush roll off, or you can have it in carpet, which will rotate the brush roll. But again, this is the most basic one. It does not have any LED lights on it. You do get 3 stages of filtration, and we do offer HEPA bags that are 5 layers. But the bag installed and the bags included are going to be paper, but you do have a pre and post motor filter. So filtration wise, it's going to be the same as the 7000, 8000, 9000. You pretty much just don't get the LED lights or the transitional floor switch. All right, let's cover some specs and we'll go over the features. CFM wise, you are looking at 107, and that comes with a 9 amp motor. Water lift, you have 70 inches, and air watts, you have 990. Bag capacity, you're looking at 4.5 liters. Item weight, 19 pounds, but it is still, extremely light. Hose length, once you have it fully stretched out, you have about 6 feet. I did lie earlier in the video. The cord length is actually 40 feet and not 50 feet. I got the cord length mixed up with the Prolux core, which has a 50 foot, but on the 6000 it is 40 feet, and that is going to be 16 gauge. Again, like I mentioned earlier, you have 3 stages of filtration, which is a bag and then a pre and post motor filter. Moving on to the features, you have an ergonomic handle, and then you do have a convenient carrying handle right here. You got onboard tools, telescopic wand, auto adjusting power head. You have a locking pivot release button or pedal that we went over. You do have a nice protective rubber bumper that goes all the way around the vacuum. So if you accidentally bang this into the wall, it's going to protect the wall. There might be a little bit of paint transfer, but it's going to protect the wall from being dented or damaging the vacuum. You do have a stainless steel bottom plate, which I will show you guys how to remove that later on in the video. The 6000 is made out of stainless steel and rigid plastic, but that does not mean it will not break. If you, throw this down the stairs or purposely pick it up and throw it on the ground, it's going to break. So even though it is tough plastic and stainless steel, if you abuse it, it's going to break. So don't do that. Moving on to the back, you have a pivoting cord wrap, and then you do have firm rubber wheels. And then on the hose, you do have a suction relief, which if you open this up, it's going to let more air out and it's going to reduce the suction. And you do have a port right here. If you open it, you can look into the bag and see if it's full or if you have a clog, which I will go over that later. But spec-wise and feature-wise, you got quite a bit, even though with this being a very basic commercial vacuum, even though it's basic, it still works great. So when it comes to maintenance for the Prolux 6000, there are only 4 things you really need to check, and that's going to be the bag, both the filters, and the brush roll. But to replace the bag, it's very easy. You have this front cover, you have a black button right here, push that down, and then you can pull the front cover off. And then to remove the bag, just get behind this bag collar and pull it off, dispose of it, get your new bag, and just go ahead and put the hole on the bag onto the port right there, and then replace the front cover. It's that easy. Moving on to the pre-motor filter, it's going to be below the bag. It's going to be this white filter right here. Just grab it with your fingers and remove it. Both the filters are washable, so just rinse them under water, or you can let them soak in a bowl of dish soap and water. And then just make sure if you do that, you rinse it off completely and then you let it dry completely before reinstalling it. But these are very inexpensive. I just buy a bunch of replacement filters. But to replace it, you have these slots right here. Just feed the filter underneath that, and you're good to go. Post-motor filter is going to be behind this filter cover. You have this little black switch. Go ahead and push that up, and then on the opposite side you're going to have a little tab you have to push in. So push that in, and then you can pop it off. Here's that filter. I find it easier when you replace this filter, put it in the cover first. And you gotta make sure you put that tab in first. Then pop it down, click it in, and then lock it. The bag installed and the extra bags that are included are gonna be paper. If you guys want to improve the filtration of the vacuum, we do offer 5-layer HEPA bags that can be purchased separately on our website or Amazon. There it is, Micron HEPA material, and they're 5 layers, so you're going to get really good filtration out of these bags. But if you just want to opt out for the normal paper bags, they're still going to do pretty well. So we covered the bag and both filters. We're going to flip the vacuum over and take a look at the brush roll now. All right, so we're looking at the stainless steel bottom plate, and to remove this, you have these 2 little clips, if that's what you want to call them. You need to push them towards each other, and then simply just grab the top of the bottom plate and lift it towards you, and then you can remove it. So now you have access to the belt and the brush roll and the fill tube, which when we go over troubleshooting, this is going to be very important. So it's nice and convenient that the bottom plate is easy to remove. So to remove the brush roll, you have this metal clip right here. Remove that. That just keeps it from popping out when it's in the vacuum position or the upright position. And then go ahead and just grab the brush roll with your hand and just gently pull it out. And then you can remove the brush roll from the belt. Most of the time you don't really need to replace these, but you do need to maintain them over time depending on the cleaning job you're doing. There's going to be a lot of hair or like yarn wrapped around it, so go ahead and get that maintenance tool or a knife and just go ahead and cut the hair and pull it off. Most of the time you can just grab the hair from the bristles and kind of pry it off. And then to replace it, if you have the belt still attached to the motor shaft, which is up there, you just feed the brush roll through and make sure it's on this roller right here. Because as the belt spins, it's going to move that roller and turn the brush roll. But anyways, you don't need to get it exactly on the roller. You can have it to the side. It doesn't really matter. It's just good practice to get it on there first. And then there are these little C notches on each side. And on the brush roll, you have these circle pegs sticking out. So when you go install it, make sure those circle pegs sit in those C notches, or otherwise it's going to be installed incorrectly. So get the belt on, and then kind of just finagle it. Sometimes you got to pull one side towards each other. And then push it down so it's seated. And then go ahead and manually spin the brush roll, and that belt will seat itself to the correct position. And then don't forget this C-clip. Goes in like that, and then you put the bottom plate on. But I'm going to show you guys how to replace the belt since we're in here. So again, remove the brush roll, And then you have this belt cover, lift that up, and then you have the motor shaft right there. Just feed it off that, remove it, get your new belt, feed it over the motor shaft, and then it's just like replacing the brush roll again. Get it on that roller, and then you kind of have to just play with it until it's in those C notches. Manually spin the brush roll so the belt sits and adjusts itself properly, and then go ahead and replace that metal clip we removed. And then make sure the belt cover is down, because if you accidentally have it up and then you put the bottom plate back on and you flip it over, this is going to break off. So make sure that is down. And then we're going to replace or reinstall the bottom plate. So you have these plastic tabs right here. This lip on the bottom plate needs to go under those. Once you have it on, we're then going to push these clips out from each other to lock the bottom plate on. So that is just maintenance. So you got a bag to check and replace, 2 filters to either clean or replace, and then you have this brush roll that you just need to periodically check. I'll give you some advice. If you're replacing the bag, just check the brush roll and clean it if necessary. So maintenance wise, you only have 4 things to check, maintain, and replace. Moving on to troubleshooting, this is probably going to be very helpful for you guys, especially if you encounter a no suction scenario. Alright, so first things first, if your vacuum does not turn on, make sure you are turning the on and off switch on, and test different outlets to make sure that the outlet's not a problem. If you're still having issues, reach out to us at service@proluxcleaners.com, and we'll either send you a replacement or we'll have you send it in for warranty. And warranty, we cover shipping both ways along with parts and labor. So if you ever have an issue, reach out to us and we will get you taken care of. Moving on to no suction. First things first, you want to make sure the bag is not full. If the bag is full, the vacuum's not going to have any suction. Another thing to check is both the pre and post motor filter. If those are very dirty and covered with dirt and grime, that is going to restrict the airflow and cause a no suction. But let's say you replace or the bag and the filters are in good condition. First things first is you're going to plug the vacuum in and turn it on, and you're going to test the suction directly from the back of the hose. If you have suction, then you can move on to the other end of the hose, but if you do not have suction, then you need to look in here and see if there is a clog and remove it, or replace the bag and check the filters. But let's say you have suction from here. Next thing you're going to want to do is take the hose off the wand and test the suction from the other end of the hose. If you have suction, you're good to go. We'll move on to the next thing. But if you don't, then you probably have a clog somewhere in the hose, and if you stretch this hose out, you can see through it, so it's really easy to see where the clog can be. And if you need to remove that, you can pop the back of the hose off the back of the unit, and then you can get like a broom handle or a stick and shove it through the hose and remove any clog. Next thing, if the hose is good, turn the vacuum on and test suction directly from the wand. If you have suction, then we'll move on to the next thing. But if you don't have suction, go ahead and remove the wand, and you're just going to look through it. If you can see light from the other side, you don't have a clog or anything in the wand. If you do, go ahead and remove it. But let's say the wand is good. Next thing you want to move on to is the fill tube. Like you saw, when we remove the bottom plate, you have that orange tip. That is part of the fill tube assembly. So moving on, you want to place your hand on top of the fill tube. If you feel suction, then you need to flip the vacuum over and look at the other end of the fill tube. But let's say you don't have suction. Well, we're going to put the wand back, put the hose back, and we're going to flip the vacuum over and take off the bottom plate. So now we're going to be looking at this section right here. There is a Phillips screw, so if you remove that, you can pop this fill tube out and get a better look inside. Majority of the time, if you have no suction, The issue is going to be in the power head, and it's mostly going to be at the port at this orange tip of the fill tube. So you can put your finger in there, see if you feel anything, or you can remove it and get a better look. And while we're down here and we have the bottom plate off, it's a good opportunity to just check this area and the brush roll. If the brush roll is covered in dirt and hair and you don't have that much of an opening from the bottom plate to the brush roll, so if the brush roll is caked in dirt, it's going to restrict this opening, and that can cause suction issues, especially when you have the vacuum pivot released and the head is sitting closer to the floor. So that's pretty much all you need to check. Start with the back of the hose and work your way down. If you don't have suction in any of those areas, then just address it and remove the clog. If you did check all that and you're still having issues, please reach out to us, send it in for warranty, or we will get you a replacement with a return label so you can send the unit you're having issues with back to us, and we will handle it and take appropriate actions, whether that's parting it out or refurbishing it. One more thing I want to address, and that is going to be the wheels. We have had some weird encounters with customers stating that their wheels have been squeaky, and we have gotten video and they are squeaky. So you can spray WD-40 on the axle, get a couple spins, lubricate it up, or we can send you a replacement wheel and axle and you can replace it. There's just a snap ring right here. So if you remove that, the wheels can slide off, and then you have a Phillips head screw on the back of the axle if you need to replace the axle. So I just wanted to mention that real quick. So that's gonna sum up today's video regarding the Prolux 6000 commercial upright vacuum cleaner. Even though it's a very basic vacuum, it gets the job done. If you guys have any questions regarding this unit, or you want to see me talk about something different, you can leave a comment down in the comment section below, or send us an email at service@proluxcleaners.com. If you guys want to buy the upgraded HEPA bags, I will put a link to that in the description below, or you can visit our website at www.proluxcleaners.com for any replacement parts. I'm Kyle with Prolux. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.